Confused Breakfast listeners, this is a message for you. I'm literally seconds away from pushing the button to start the intro music that you love. But I want to remind you about our favorite whiskey in the entire world, Cedar Ridge. They've been a sponsor of this podcast for a long time now, so you already know everything there is to know about this amazing company. I don't need to tell you that they were named Distillery of the Year in 2017. I don't need to tell you that their delicious products include the flagship bourbon, the quintessential American single malt, and their amazing collaboration with Slipknot, which we are drinking right now. We're about ready to drink. No, we're going flagship bourbon.
We're going flagship today.
I love it. I don't need to tell you that you can likely grab a bottle at your local stores around the Midwest, and if you can't find it there, you can directly order it online at cedarridgewhiskey.com. I don't have to tell you any of these things because you already know it. So as I cheers my two friends, they better pour me one here. As I cheers my buddies, consume some of this.
Oh, God, right over the computer.
Okay, got it. Just pouring whiskey over. Please consider buying a bottle. You won't be disappointed, and you will make us all so happy. For gosh sakes, the movie we're reviewing today is Cocktails.
It's Cocktail.
You got to enjoy some cocktails. Here we go.
Clinky clink. What the fuck? Does anybody know how to cheers?
You have to look right in the eye. You have to go. Yeah. No, you have to.
Salud.
This is the worst intro we've ever done. Well, hello there, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on another new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. On this podcast, we review the classic movies that define the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s for us as kids. But with all the movies that were made in those decades, even the most seasoned movie buffs have inevitably missed a few popular movies.
What do you want me to do?
Sean doesn't have, such a buff, he doesn't have sleeves on his shirt
What
right
do you
now.
want me to do?
So buff.
In talking about what movies to review next, we started noticing there are a few instances where one of the hosts felt passionate about a particular movie from childhood, and the other two hosts had never seen it. So we came up with a new idea for an episode. We will be reviewing a classic movie from two different perspectives. First, from the perspective of someone who's seen the movie countless times, and secondly, from the perspective of two people who have just watched the movie for the first and only time. I'm your host, Mike Schulte. Joining me today are my borderline alcoholic co-hosts, AJ Benz and Sean Perry. How the heck are ya?
Yeah.
Borderline, not quite there yet.
Nope.
That's something to celebrate.
It's
Let's have a drink.
Something to celebrate, something to work towards,
Yeah.
Just I want to get there. It's my plan.
Yeah.
Plan for 2022.
Damn, these jokes are flowing today, man. All right, boys. So like we said in the intro today, one of us has seen the movie countless times, and the other two have never seen it. Time to reveal who is who. Mike Schulte, am a fan of Cocktail. Sean and AJ have never seen it. You seriously have never seen this movie?
Never seen it.
Dude.
Like, not even like, is it just that you just never had a chance to, or you just never gave a
I
fuck
still
to
haven't,
watch
and
it?
this is all going to be new to me.
You
so-
still haven't watched
no,
it?
Yeah, I just never got the chance. Never wanted to really. I've always known about it. Obviously, just the cover is kind of synonymous, and yeah, I don't know. Just never got to it.
It is honestly one of the movies I can genuinely say I don't think I've even seen snippets of this
Yeah.
movie.
Damn.
Up until this point. Genuinely. I don't remember no TBS blips, no
Yeah.
no nothing, man.
I have a weird memory of this movie. I remember, like, it's one of those memories that you just will remember for the rest of your life, even though it doesn't mean anything. I remember seeing my neighbor. I was at their house. I used to play with the son of this family. We were the same age, but they had an older sister who, like, we were hanging at her house one day, and she had the soundtrack to this movie on cassette. And that is such an iconic looking poster. The movie poster of this, which was on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That the blue and the pink neon and Tom
Yeah.
Cruise standing there.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just have like this unbelievable warm fuzzy about that, and like that's the cassette, and like, holy shit, the soundtrack. Even though I never watched the movie up to that point, I had never seen it, never listened to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, Cocktail.
Yeah.
I don't. You have those weird things that you latch onto as a kid, but
Totally.
like, well, speaking of the soundtrack, #1 in Canada and Australia, #2 in the U.S.
Wow.
That soundtrack was gigantic, and I'm
Damn.
sure we'll talk about it more in the movie. But for me, though, then when I finally watched it, I started working in the service industry as a bartender. and this guy that was like my mentor, it's like, you gotta watch Cocktail. It is like awesome. It is like, it shows what it's all about. Like, yeah,
It's like a bouncer saying, like, look, you got to watch Roadhouse,
You
okay?
got to.
You got to, look, my prodigy. You
They
got to
made,
watch
they
Patrick
made a movie
Swayze.
for us.
but
Yeah.
that's kind of what it was. Like and we were like, oh, we gotta like learn that. Like, we gotta get some cougars too. It was,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was weird. But it's like how the movie Waiting is like, if you're in the restaurant industry, you have to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because it so perfectly depicts things of that business that you're in. So I mean, I definitely watched this movie a lot from that point on. Just if it's ever on TV, I watched it. But overall, like, nostalgically rating like a 6.3. It's nothing special, but I just enjoyed the funness of this movie. I enjoyed the time that I watched it and the era that I was. So we'll see. I haven't seen it in a long time until today, so we'll see how that rating changes. But before actually watching the movie, we made Sean and AJ make a snap decision recording about what they thought this movie was about.
Oh, yeah.
Strictly based off the title of the movie and the official movie poster. So let's see what they have to say. I think this is AJ.
Okay.
Tom Cruise is a professional knife game player. You know, the game where you like stab the knife between your fingers as best you can. You don't stab your hand, that kind of thing. He plays this professionally, but he's in the underground circuit, the bar scene. He's kind of washed up, so he's just better when he's drinking. So he's got to have at least like 3 shots of Cedar Ridge whiskey, so he can feel confident enough to play the knife game and hustle these guys in the underground circuit, so he can make it to the big leagues in Atlantic City. It says above his head, when he pours, he rains, meaning that when he does in fact stab himself in the finger, he just bleeds copious amounts of blood because of the alcohol in his blood. The reason it's called Cocktail is because Tom Cruise's nickname is Rooster, and he gets a lot of cocktail thing, but he attracts a lot of men and women. So go Rooster. You got it. Happy St. Patty's Day.
AJ, you look like you don't remember saying this. Was
remember
this
bits and
recorded
pieces.
after St. Patrick's Day?
It
Okay,
was.
cool. I'm just checking.
It was. It's the only time I could do it.
Oh, I laughed so hard when you laughed at it. You're like, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Well, I think you're right. I think you nailed it.
Yeah,
thanks,
that
man.
sounds
I'm
pretty
glad.
good.
Let's see if Sean almost said the exact same thing.
The plot of the movie really is that he has a cock for a tail, and he wants to be the greatest mixologist in the world. So he tries to do that, but the only thing is that he mixes his drinks with his cock tail, and he's kind of got to get over that, or the world's got to get over that and see what the power that brings. So yeah, goodbye.
I mean, close. Close.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah, wow. That was a different direction, but I think you could be right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet.
I know.
For those of you playing along, here is the actual summary. Intent on becoming a successful businessman and even a millionaire, the ex-military man Brian Flanagan waits for his big break while serving drinks at a New York City tavern and studying for his degree. However, when the charismatic cynic and veteran bartender Doug Coughlin becomes the ambitious Brian's sage mentor, their chemistry, combined with the flamboyant tricks behind the bar, will soon yield fame and money until they decide to split ways. Now, as Flanagan struggles to raise money in Jamaica to open his dream bar someday, he falls hard for a striving waitress, Jordan Mooney, while a wealthy fashion executive wants to take him back to Manhattan to live with her. Is there a future between Brian and Jordan?
Oh.
We'll find out.
So not what we
So
said.
nothing.
You'll find out.
You
Some would say maybe your ideas would be better.
maybe.
Some would say.
I would like to see my movie.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I left 2 messages. You didn't play the first one, but there was a little bit more detail in there. I just want people to say that, or people to know that I had more thoughts.
Okay.
But I guess you'll never hear them.
You don't, nope.
you don't get to
Patreon
hear
will hear that.
Patreon.
So let's dive in a little bit on a few details before we talk about the movie. Released July 29th, 1988. It grossed $171 million worldwide.
Dang.
Is that good?
yeah. Have you adjusted for inflation?
Well,
417. Directed by Roger Donaldson. He did Species, Dante's Peak, The Bounty. Did you recognize that name at all?
Yeah, I recognize the
he's
name.
Decent. Like,
Yeah, I like Dante's Peak. That's a fun movie.
Dante's Peace.
Written by Haywood Gould, starring Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Shue, and Brian Brown. Couple quick details about critics and reviews. Tomato meter, 7%. That is the absolute bottom of any movie we have ever talked about on the tomato meter.
7%?
7%. I'm going to tell you exactly.
Wait.
No. The tomato meter is 7%. That means it is 2 points below blank check.
What?
Oh my God.
That's the critical review. Audience score, 58%.
Oh.
IMDb, 6.9. That is like the bottom 6. That is just below Harry and the Hendersons, just above Mortal Kombat for any movies that we have done.
Jesus
My Lord.
Christ.
Our boy, a couple reviews for you. Eric's Bad Movie Review, definitely got one in on this. Cocktail was filmed as a prank on the part of Touchstone Pictures to see if people would pay to watch nothing more than 100 minutes of Tom Cruise pretending to mix drinks. The prank worked. Despite overwhelmingly negative reviews and the obvious fact that the movie was about a man who pours small amounts of liquids into other small amounts of liquids, people came out in droves. Meanwhile, Tom Cruise, bless his heart, actually thought he was appearing in a serious movie. Cocktail is about a bartender who dreams of one day opening a bar, yet somehow it's even more boring than that description makes it sound. Tom Cruise had earned a lot of public goodwill in 1988, and he was about to earn even more with Rain Man, released later that year. But did people love him so much that they'd overlook all of his character's flaws and watch a tedious movie about him anyway? Apparently so. The only thing more surprising is that I wrote this entire column without making a single Scientology joke. That's our boy Eric's Bad Movie Reviews.
Yeah.
Richard Corliss of Time Magazine gave it a 1 out of 4. Cocktail is a bottle of rot gut whiskey in a Dom Perignon box.
Wow.
Yeah. 4 out of 10 user review called Unlikable Guy in Romantic Melodrama by Snoopy Style in 2016. Where do I begin? First, Brian is a horrible guy. Jordan is well advised to keep her distance. Doug and Brian's friendship is toxic at best. Yeah. The story is super melodramatic romance. It goes all over the place. I often remember this as a Jamaican movie, but that's only the half in the middle. The first change is abrupt. It might be better to keep the whole movie in Jamaica. That would at least keep the random melodramatic twist down to a manageable level. There is an appealing aspect of Tom Cruise being at his most Tom Cruise, but it's not appealing enough. 2 out of 10 called Top Gun in a Bar from 2005. Take the same formula perfected in Top Gun and apply it here, but with drinks. See also my Days of Thunder review. I'd actually like to read that. Tom Cruise is really not good here. Taking liberties with the plot is fine, but making it ridiculous is not. The setting is wonderful and some scenery is great, but the actors still don't look like they're having a good time. No wonder the script contains atrocious lines after atrocious lines. There are plenty of better buddy romantic movies out there. Don't bother with this trash. And the best review of all of them, 10 out of 10 user review called Brian Brown, written in March 2020. I like the bit when he throws the bottles in the air and catches them. Yeah. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, baby.
So that was actor Brian Brown commenting on his own movie.
Bevo13678. That's my man right there. Man, fans were very indifferent about it, and critics hated this movie so much.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the full review of Cocktail, we have to at least first give a shout out to our amazing sponsor, Felix Gray.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him for a while now, and many of you have reached out and said you bought a pair. My mom bought a pair. A couple people messaged us. They're all loving them. That means so much to us because this company took a chance on us and they support us directly. So the best thing we can do is support them back.
Totally.
Try to push you guys into buying some because we really do love it. We really do believe it. The company makes affordable and incredibly stylish glasses that filter out the harmful blue light that is all around us from computers, phones, and TVs. They are 15 times more effective than all other blue light glasses at filtering this blue light. The quality is unbelievable, and you will love all the options for different styles and colors. You can even decide between prescription, non-prescription, and readers. Our exposure to blue light is not going away. That's pretty obvious. So do yourself a favor, grab a pair of these glasses. We all have them, love them. We have multiple pairs. I know, at least I do. I think Sean does. And we know you're going to love them too. So go check them out now. Non-prescription, prescription available. FelixGrayGlasses.com/confused. FelixGray glasses.com/confused. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. Go get it. Go do it.
See the future.
If you want to be able to make a real big statement and say, "Well, actually," then you gotta get
really
yourself
good.
some Felix Gray.
There's none other.
Well, actually,
You first have to pull them down a little further.
well.
All right, boys. So what do you say we dive into our analysis of another addition to the I've Never Seen collection, Cocktail?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So we start off by meeting Brian Flanagan, who just finished his stint in the Army and is eager to land a high-powered job in the business world. When he fails, he settles for work as a bartender. An older and more experienced bartender, Doug Coughlin, takes him under his wing. The two become friends, and Doug gives Brian the idea for a nationwide chain of bars called Cocktails and Dreams.
Cocktails and Dreams.
Just fun 80s shenanigans.
Yep.
Just people impersonating police, trying to commandeer a bus.
Well,
Yeah.
were
Just
they
fun
were they
80s
though?
stuff.
Because I think they were he was just getting out of the Army,
Yeah.
and so was that some sort of official Army vehicle?
It looked like it, but that's a crime.
You can't pull a bus over.
You can't. That's a city vehicle, and they're just like a bunch. I mean, if they were officials, if they were the MPs, maybe it would be yeah, we need to get this guy to New York ASAP. Let's do this, but it doesn't seem that way.
Well, I have to mention, who cares that he's in the military?
Why is this a plot point?
Why does this matter?
Actually, you're right. They never. Can't he just be like, "Hey, I'm moving back to New York"?
It never comes up again.
Well, and it could be he could use it later if he wanted to be yeah, I'm not an asshole. I'm actually a soldier, so respect me. He could use that, but he never does.
No.
He's just an asshole.
Right, he's just an asshole. While getting a job, he could say, or looking for a job, he could say, yeah, I don't have a lot of experience because I just got out of the military and I'm hoping to gain some experience here. That's a real simple thing to say to somebody who's hiring and maybe get your foot in the door.
I was even when he got on the bus, it cut to him. He's holding a kid. He's look at the city, look at the Twin Towers and stuff. Look at I'm gonna get there. We're gonna do a bunch of things. I'm when do you have a kid?
Yeah,
Did he just literally? He's so handsome. He just got on the bus and gave someone the fuck eyes.
He just
and
impregnated four
they
women.
just had a baby right then and there.
Yep.
Well,
Fell right out.
you know what?
So.
It checks out to me.
It was funny. I was thinking about that too, about how hard it was for him to not get a job, and then I was thinking maybe it's because Tom Hanks already took his job in Big. That would have been a really fun crossover to just be they saw Tom Hanks just walking by the door as his character in Big. Oh, we just gave the last job to that guy.
Oh, dang.
Dang it!
But how did Tom Hanks' character get that job and Tom Cruise could not get any? Was it different in the 80s where your military service literally means nothing?
Apparently, it just means absolute zip.
I mean, it really doesn't anymore these days, too. Just to be honest.
I guess that's true. I mean, but I feel like he could have at least, like AJ said, just been hey, give me whatever. I'll go work in the mailroom and work my way up. I don't
Correct.
care. I'm in.
I like that during the interview process, he has a different haircut than the rest of the
He seems
movie.
to have a different haircut throughout the whole movie. But I also want to say, I think this is peak Tom Cruise hair.
Oh yeah,
His hair looks awesome in this movie.
it's gorgeous.
It was like the Farrah Fawcett of guys,
Yeah.
very very blown out down the middle. During the interview process, he definitely fluffed up his hair in the interview process, and then he goes back to normal Tom Cruise for the rest of the movie.
So were you guys as weirded out as I was? I never thought about it back in the day, but the fact that this is a TGI Fridays and that it's the coolest, most happening spot ever in New York City.
It's weird.
So I had to read up. I had to be like, what? No. That's in our era thinking that this is taking place in Chili's.
And Applebee's.
Yeah,
Like an Applebee's or something like that.
You're just waiting for someone to say, "Hey, can I get a side of mini egg rolls too?"
Well,
jalapeno shooters.
Yeah.
extreme fajitas.
Extreme fajitas.
But so I had to do some research. Now, apparently, TGI Fridays started in New York, and before it was this franchise of what we think it was, they said that before TGI Fridays, 4 single 25-year-old girls were not going out on Friday nights. or in public because there just wasn't like places to go. So this guy opened up TGI Fridays as like this 20 to 30 something hangout on Friday nights after work. Like it was this personalized thing that he did to be this neighborhood bar, and it's really fun. It's got food and it's a good atmosphere. So that's how it started. This movie is completely true to what was happening there.
Wow.
But we just don't think about it that way.
No.
It's
Why would I think about it that way?
There wasn't like a sled on the wall with
Yeah.
like a picture of like Rasputin or something. You know all the fun stuff they
Yeah.
have on the walls.
All the tchotchke shit that they
Yeah.
got on the walls. It's like
cool.
What did you feel? What did you guys think first time watching this of like Coughlin?
Coughlin?
Yeah.
Oh, he's like the coolest person
Yeah.
I've ever seen
Cool
in
as
my
fuck.
life.
Still, like I mean, because you've only seen this once. Like
Correct.
you're into this. You're like, I like this guy.
As of right now, at this point in the movie,
Okay.
he's coming in. This dude just cracked an egg into his beer with some orange juice or something.
No, so a red
What's
eye.
tomato
What's
juice?
the red
It's
eye?
a red eye. It's a beer, tomato juice,
Tomato juice.
like 2 Tylenols and an egg.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what he put in there,
Oh my god.
and then just
He
wall
said-
dropping quips and like having something to say about every single thing
See,
Tom Cruise asks about.
that's the thing about this. I was like, yeah, he's really quick and really witty and like philosophical and everything he says. I'm like, he's a really cool guy. And then like an hour in, I'm like, this is all he's gonna do.
This is what it
His
is.
character.
Jesus Christ! Like it got to the point where I'm like, okay, just say like an actual sentence.
Yeah.
Just say something like that doesn't have any meaning. Like I don't know if you're
Coughlin's
serious.
law. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you don't have to say that. Just tell me what you're gonna say.
Yeah, just say like you want to go to the bar. Don't say like
You don't have to speak in fucking riddles.
yeah,
okay?
and there I was like talking in third person or some shit. Like, damn, dude, shut up.
Button your shirt.
But there is a nice juxtaposition. You've got super cool Coughlin, like just doing all this cool stuff and so comfortable on the bar. And then you got Tom Cruise wringing sweat out of his socks after
That
the.
was disturbing.
It has to be. It's got to be all the spilled drinks.
See, I don't know though.
You're right. You're
Because
right.
he also was like drenched.
You're right.
So are they really implying that his socks would have wringable sweat from working? I've never had that happen to me.
Just like he just went and like got in on the court with the Knicks or something. Like what? This is what he did. This is the equivalent of that behind the bar.
I like that he said he's like, yeah, all the wait staff hate me, like all the ladies hate me. He's like, you wait till they've given you crabs, or you wait till you've given them crabs, then they'll really hate you. And he's like, okay, so no seafood.
So no
Gotcha.
seafood.
Yeah, good.
We don't have seafood here.
They don't like seafood.
The
That's
80s
good.
were a different time. my friend.
They're different.
Just fucking and twirling and
And then now you
Hating.
start getting Tom Cruise. He's like finally learning how to do stuff, and
Yeah.
while he's still going to school,
Yeah.
which was the thing about this movie is that everything is just all the fuck over the place. Like it's just we're doing this. Okay, now we're gonna go do this.
Right,
now
this-
this is gonna happen.
This movie didn't even give enough of a shit to even try a montage. Like they just said, "Cool, he's better now. He's better at bartending."
You're absolutely right. This is peak montage era, and they did nothing.
They did
to
zero
show him like
montage.
getting better at home.
Yeah.
they had the soundtrack. They clearly had the music.
totally.
Just be like, put it in here.
All he had to do. But no, like the next time we see him behind the bar, he is pro. He's doing really well,
Yeah.
and he's doing choreographed like recital, like he's doing everything like a pro behind the bar with Coughlin.
taking 15 minutes to make one drink
Yeah.
for himself. There's 90 people at the bar, and he's like, all right.
I don't.
He drank it in front of him.
What the fuck, dude?
Dude, this whole movie is a giant shut the fuck up and make my drink.
Please.
This whole movie, because I've never felt. I've been to a few bars where there's been some flair happening,
Yeah.
and like I've never once been like, oh.
Yeah.
No, I've been like, oh, this is
think the
embarrassing.
Beatles just stepped behind the bar
Yeah,
or something.
so-
It's like,
and
what the fuck?
There
Waiting
is.
for your drink, like,
Did he? Is that my drink or is that someone else's drink? I'm really not sure.
they put vodka in my whiskey. No, that doesn't make sense.
That can't be right. That can't be right. He must be doing this wrong.
What happens if you like order a beer? Do they just like, start flipping it around and shit? Like,
Throws it at you. Oh, while after he opened it.
You get half of it back, all shaken up. No.
Damn it.
There are like 10 people deep around this entire bar, not conversing with the people they're there with, just going,
Yeah.
might as well face it. Yeah.
I'm addicted
Dude,
to love.
oh, watch, he's going to do the volume. He turned the volume down. Addicted to love. Yeah. Cool.
And like he does that more times than he should too. He's like addicted to love. You might as well face it. You're addicted to. And I'm like, that's fun. That's
Okay,
fun.
do
He's like,
Okay.
we want to listen to the song.
Will you please make the next drink?
Nothing about that bar makes me want to hang out in it. Like, we talk many times about, I want to hang out in that bar.
Yep.
Like we had Boondock Saints. Oh, that's my kind of.
Yeah.
I don't want
I don't
anything
really
near
wanna be
any
here.
of the bars that this motherfucker.
You're
works
not
in
getting
this
drunk
whole
in
movie.
there.
No,
damn
you're
sure.
not. You're getting drunk on good vibes. But you know what? As long as it's okay though, because I don't think anybody got charged for anything. So that's
Did
fine.
money ever change hands?
I don't think it did. I don't think it
This is
did.
pre-credit cards, you guys.
He
Like, you have to actually bring cash
Correct.
and buy your drink.
Yeah, they did open the register at least, I think, twice in this whole entire section of the movie, but it was just to hit him in the head or try at least, and that's it.
So before we move on to this one, I think your honorary most punchable face is happening at this point.
Oh.
The finance teacher, Paul Benedict.
Oh, absolutely.
That's most punchable face for me, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Did you recognize him at all? He's a pretty recognizable face. He was the hotel clerk in Spinal Tap, and he was the neighbor and judge in the Addams Family.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
He's a very. You see him in normal life, and he looks like this really nice guy, but he just very well plays that mean. Like I wanted to punch that
Yeah,
dude when he was making fun of Tom Cruise. Don't do that.
The only time I was like for Tom Cruise in this movie was when he was telling that
Yeah.
teacher to fuck off. Yeah, I like because I have a big thing against teachers. Obviously, I love him being like, "You're a fucking wash up stupid head."
Yeah,
I
says
wanna,
the guy that's too afraid to go out in the real world. to do
exactly.
this.
I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
How
Fuck
dare
you.
You can't fail me because I
Yeah.
said that.
Read a book and learn. That's not how you teach. I'm sorry.
That's weird. Inspire me, you
Yeah.
dick.
So Brian drops out of business school after this, and he and Doug become popular bartenders at a trendy nightclub. Eventually, their flaring act catches the eye of Coral, a wealthy a wealthy photographer, and she and Brian begin dating. Doug sleeps with Coral, and Brian flips out on Doug, ending their friendship. If you thought that TGI Fridays was a shit bar,
Right.
you can't pay me to go to the cell block.
No.
Like, first of all, they look like they work at a Whataburger, like with their outfits, the pinstripe shirts or whatever, and then you just have people sing poetry.
Yeah, who is this? Why is Sheldon from Big Bang Theory saying poetry at the top of the stairs?
And why are people giving a shit and being like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
shut up, he's gonna do poetry. Shut up.
It's like the minstrels of like the olden days and like medieval times. Like, oh. Why?
I just can't think that would have ever happened in a bar
no.
where people are like, no, for real, we're gonna listen to this guy read a poem, and then where they're like, that was so good, someone else needs to read a poem.
Yeah.
Bartender, you read a poem.
Yeah.
Not read a poem. Fucking come up with one off the top of your dome poem.
Having been 2 months into being a bartender, who you're now the best bartender in the world, and now you know all the words, and you got this cool swagger.
Yep.
Makes
sense.
Yeah, and even the setup of the cell block bar, like,
Yeah.
you notice how there were just those balconies
Yeah.
where it's just like about 2 feet deep, and you just stood there.
It's got to be really inconvenient to try to get back to the bar after you just went all the way the fuck up there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just so you can stand like next to somebody, like what? You can't. There's no tables. There's nothing. There wasn't even any seats at the bar. Like there's nothing going on here.
So
Nothing happens in this bar.
Nothing happens.
And there's like
People
there's
just
two,
stand around.
There in all these places there are 2 bartenders for like hundreds
Yes.
of people.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
There's not even a bar back.
No. They just break their glasses. They're like, we're not going to use these anymore.
The woman who comes to like take pictures of
Coral.
Coral, okay.
Coral.
Just take pictures of Brian and tells him to get out of the way, Doug. I don't know, like they go and have sex after this scene,
Yes.
but it looks like the most like they're wrestling and like role playing murder sex. Like I've seen fetishes, but nothing like this. Like they look like they're devouring each other. It's like we want a sex scene, but we don't want to like show like in out pushing.
Right.
So we're just gonna put a blanket over them and they're just gonna tumble around a little
And then
bit.
she's gonna get mad and go and kick her legs and stuff.
Yeah, that was weird. She freaked out.
I did. Normally, we would research this. Normally you would know the answer to this, but since this is the first time you watched it and only time you watched it, apparently, like Tom Cruise knew she was ticklish and was like tickling her during that scene so that she would freak out.
Okay.
But it's like, why would the director be like, fuck yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, cool, good job to make her do that, but also that's not what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very awkward sex scene.
It is.
Far be it from us to yuck someone else's yum, but just you're going to tell me that this was okay for the director.
It looks like
Nailed it.
it looks like when like a Looney Tunes characters fight. It's all that tumbling,
Right.
like they're just getting to one big ball.
All
of
they're
chaos.
missing is the cloud of like dust.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
If we're talking, if we're also talking props,
Yeah.
I want Tom Cruise's sweat shorts when he's playing basketball.
Short.
When's the last time you saw a short pair of sweat shorts?
Oh, I'm bringing them back. I'm gonna
I
bring
think
them back.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we could.
I think we could do it.
I'm down.
I want his worn pair.
Next
I
time
want
we
his pair.
record, and we're gonna be wearing sweat shorts. Let's just make it a thing.
Okay.
We're wearing, next time you see us, we're gonna be doing that.
We're gonna be wearing
The next
sweat
2
shorts.
times you see us, we're gonna be doing that.
Do you have any props that you can remember on this one?
I'm trying.
You'll have to think about it as we
I'm
go.
gonna need to think about it just a little bit.
We never usually do the props I've never seen, but I
Right.
thought I'd at least tell
Yeah.
you my prop.
I did think of one, but while I was watching it, but I have forgotten it for right now.
I want the neon sign, cocktails and dreams.
That's pretty good.
I'm sorry.
That blue and pink, something
Yep.
about those neon colors just make me go. Wee.
Yeah, fucking Miami Vice, bro.
Miami Vice.
So
yeah.
as first time watchers, do you still? Because I still don't understand why was mad at Brian.
No idea.
It's
No idea.
nothing. So supposedly, she says something like, "You'd had to go and yap your mouth about our sex life."
Talk about
To
it.
who?
like-
to Doug?
To Doug, to my best friend, Doug.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like, what are they yapping that is so like?
man.
Like you told him that I like to kick my legs and flail around.
yeah,
and flail over.
yeah. You told him I was ticklish.
You told him I was ticklish.
So.
Like, guess what, Doug? I fucked her.
Oh,
Why did you
What?
tell him that?
But then in these like summaries though, in these summaries, it says like Doug sleeps with Coral.
Yeah.
Doug sleeps with Coral.
But like, what?
when did this happen?
And when did this happen? And how absolutely shitty, terribly toxic of a friend is Doug to Brian?
Right off the
He's
bat.
like, see, I saved you a whole lot of trouble. It's like you just went and like
You made the trouble.
You made the trouble so that you can win a bet,
yeah.
and now you're trying to ask me to thank you
Yeah,
for that.
you'll thank me in a year or whatever it is. It's like you really want to not be friends for a year, like so, like what?
Did you plan this, Doug?
No, he knows. He goes, no. I'll be owning a yacht later, and it's all gonna be cool. It's all gonna be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did this for your own good, so that you would move to fucking Jamaica.
So up until this point, I'll be honest with you, I was having a decent amount of fun with this movie.
I was, man. I was too.
I was honestly having like all jokes aside, I was actually having a good time in this movie up until about this point.
Okay, till what was the moment
When it
this
goes
this
to
whole, or when he moves to
when
Jamaica?
he goes to Jamaica. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Are we at Jamaica yet?
Let's move on. So here's a quick summary. 2 years later, sorry, I think it's 3 years later, Brian is working beachside at a bar in Jamaica. He meets beautiful artist Jordan Mooney, and they begin a passionate relationship. Out of the blue, Doug shows up, now married to a wealthy woman. Doug bets Brian that he can't attract Bonnie, a wealthy older woman. Brian accepts his challenge and wins Bonnie over. Jordan finds out and leaves Brian to go back to the States.
Did you guys recognize Uncle Frank?
Dude!
Yeah.
Home Alone, Uncle Frank.
So I have a theory that
Okay.
that is really Uncle Frank.
Yep.
And they are there. It's a McAllister family trip. They do one every year. And somewhere nearby, Macaulay Culkin, Kevin McAllister is running around. Like he's there.
New York.
He's
He's back in New York.
oh no, yeah, that was amazing. Like, and of course he wants like a free drink. He's like, I was promised a free drink
Yeah.
upon arrival.
Yeah.
So that has to.
Cheapskate.
He's a stingy bastard.
They have to be playing that off.
That would
man.
be
love
awesome.
Yeah. There was also another guy in the background, sitting at the background of the bar, never has a line. James Eckhouse. Do you know who James Eckhouse is?
James Eckhouse.
If you saw him, you'd know him. It was Jim Walsh. His main thing that he played in life was Brandon and Brenda Walsh's dad in Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay.
If you saw his face, you'd be like, shit. I was sitting there watching it going, fuck. Who, like, oh, shit, yeah. And he never says a line. He's just sitting there in the background at this amazing little tropical bar that Tom Cruise out of the middle of nowhere just is like,
Just hanging out.
hey, by the way, this whole movie is here now. We're in Jamaica.
Yep.
And this is where I live and work now.
Why the hell not?
I like when
Why the hell not?
Jordan comes up to him and finally meets him or whatever, and she's like, my friend is passed out. Come help. It's like, yeah, when your friend is passed out, you go ask the bartender for help.
Yes.
That is one
Genius.
of many mistakes that Jordan makes in this movie.
Why would you do that? Like, you made the drink, so you help her. I don't like what?
Doesn't make any sense.
Aren't there lifeguards on duty? Is this Amity Island?
Is this? There's nobody around that could have helped out.
No.
I guess not.
For as much as Brian talked about how he's going to move to Jamaica because he's going to make all this money and he's just going to bartend, for as much as he's talking about saving money, clearly for 5 to 6 days he doesn't work at all. All he does is go on dates with Jordan and drive around the island. Like some other hotshot bartender is going to pop in and take his job.
That's true. He's been watching. He's been shadowing Tom Cruise this entire time.
Of course, Tom Cruise has a little buddy at some point.
He does that. He does it behind the back like this with left hand. Left hand. Okay, I got you.
Just waiting for his shot.
Yeah,
that's right.
Can we talk about Elizabeth Shue?
Yes, please.
I love her.
This might be my favorite, Elizabeth Shue. Like, I think this is like her most heartthrob of anything she's done. Yeah. I think. Well, so the interesting thing about her career, though, I mean, she had just done. Let me look this up. She had just done Karate Kid and Adventures in Babysitting. So she was a pretty big name at this point. Same for Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise had just done Risky Business and Top Gun. Rain Man, Days of Thunder, and Born on the 4th of July are coming in the next 2 years.
Wow.
These guys are both like, they're right there. And I don't know. I know AJ, we learned this in Karate Kid. I know he's not a big fan of the Elizabeth Shue. Are you still feeling the same way, or are you feeling different now?
This kind of turned me around on.
Okay.
Yeah.
This movie certainly did, I think.
Yes.
Right.
We did it.
Right, bro.
Fuck yeah, man.
We're guys.
Hell yeah. Give me some knucks. Shit.
Did you just say, give me some nuts?
Yeah, dude.
I'm the fuck out of here.
That's KNUX.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Fuck.
What brought you around on her? Like her just genuinely like nice character?
Yeah, like
because there's side boob.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Another reason to watch our YouTube channel, my friends. But you got to wait 2 days. Sorry.
I don't know what it was. I think it's just because maybe I'm not sitting there thinking of her like in high school, right? Like,
okay,
maybe that's just
she's
it.
an adult.
It's like, okay, yeah. This
Actually, you're right. She was a high schooler in both of the previous movies, and now she's like 30.
Yeah. They just jump. Like I said, they just jump around a lot in here in Cocktail. But no, I think that's probably it. I think it's just like, and I think her, I don't know what to say about it. It's just like, definitely this movie put it over the top. Like, I think she's attractive.
I'll tell you what you can say about it. Her smile just lights up a fucking room.
I think you're correct.
Her smile is the most gorgeous smile like I might have ever seen in movies.
This is why I have Sean as a bug in my ear when I'm out on a date with my wife.
Hey, tell her smile's nice.
Hey, your smile spice.
Damn it, AJ.
So then trivia question for you, still pertaining to Elizabeth Shue. Who got more tongue into Elizabeth Shue's mouth, Tom Cruise or Ralph Macchio?
I don't know if there's
like I'm talking
in the
far
world.
furthest. Who got the furthest into her mouth, Ralph Macchio or Tom Cruise?
I don't know if there's enough tongues in the world to compare to Ralph Macchio's. He got in there, man. He dug out her stomach.
Yeah, he Gene Simmons that.
Tom Cruise came close though. Like,
Yeah.
he
Close.
was really getting in there
because like she doesn't like give back the tongue.
Yes,
he's always like, and she's just like, yeah.
She's grimacing.
Well, you know what makes me like Elizabeth Shue probably even more? is because she's like one of the rare few actresses who had a starring role with Tom Cruise who didn't end up dating and marrying.
Oh yeah,
Like
that-
Tom
that's a
Cruise
good point.
pretty much married and dated everybody he worked with.
That's true.
But Elizabeth Shue is clearly from some of this kissing footage is like,
Yeah. Complete.
cut. Oh,
he-
we have to do
are we-
another. Now we have to do a naked waterfall scene. Okay.
I'll go with William Zabka. That's what she
Fuck
did.
yeah. She should have.
I like she's like her role in movies. She seems a little like muted in this movie. It seems like she was like almost cast last minute. I don't know if you have any information on that, but it seems like she was, like I said, cast last minute. Like I like her in Karate Kid. I think she has a good performance. I think she's okay in this. I just like her presence, But she's like her most amazing role is Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage. She needed an Oscar for that. It is incredible, but yeah, I don't know what you guys if you guys
No,
agree or not.
I just think the script's so bad.
Yeah.
That there's only so much that people can do
Yeah.
in these roles.
That's
I mean,
true.
like, what
She's
are you
the
gonna
love
do?
interest.
She's the love interest who's like really nice and then gets cheated on.
Yeah.
By the way, like. Wow. Did you see this coming at all? This whole like older woman thing and
It was-
Brian or Doug showing up, like we've already made this 90-degree turn to now we're in Jamaica and here's the love interest. And now all of a sudden
The first
Doug's there.
the first thing that Doug does is ruin his life again. Like, that's all he does. He's like, yeah, I bet you can't score with the cougar over there. And it's just like, I can go do it. He's like the devil on his shoulder
Yeah.
or something. Like, what the hell is going on? You just automatically let this man ruin your life every single time you're around him.
Like I thought maybe he was just gonna like do it and see if he could, and then just kind of back off of it because they had this. If there's a montage of this movie, it's them just getting tongue down her mouth
It's
and
an endless montage of run for the shelter
Yeah, and
of our love.
flugel binders and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which they're actually called aglets.
Yep.
Well, actually.
Actually,
But yeah, no, I thought he was just gonna just kind of know that he could get her and then back off. But then they're like walking away. I'm like, oh well, he's still just gonna back off. And she's watching the whole time. And then he wakes up with her. I'm like, this fucking idiot.
what
We
a
just
moron.
got done saying how nice of a smile Elizabeth Shue has. Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna go back on that? There's a thing here.
There's a thing there.
So I got sidetracked. Someone else talk.
No, and even like the cougar thing too is just like, this isn't going to work out, Tom
Yeah.
Cruise, and it's like you got Elizabeth Shue here, and you're going to go for Bonnie,
Yeah.
who's just yeah,
I'm not saying
You know,
Bonnie's not attractive or anything
got nice,
like that.
yeah.
But at the same
Smile.
time, it's like, yeah, I hooked up with Bonnie, and and by the way, he has apparently been down in Jamaica for 3 years.
3 years.
And so now, after all this, I mean, he's got to have some sort of like personal infrastructure invested in Jamaica, and all of a sudden he's just like, and now I'm gonna go back to New York. And
Hey, remember when I said
Like, what?
Remember when I said it was going to take 3.5 years to save up all the money that I needed? Well, I'm 2 months away from that. I'm
gonna dip.
I'm just gonna dip. Now.
What are you're going to Jamaica to save money?
No, that was his idea. Is
Yeah.
that he said if he could go to Jamaica for like 3 to 4 seasons, he would
To
save up
bartend.
the $75K that he needed to open up this place.
Right.
So, and that's a whole nother fucking thing that you just opened in my head. Like,
Yeah.
let's say he has 70 grand now.
Yeah.
He is so close to following his dreams, and now he's like, no, I'm just gonna get a job for my cougar girlfriend.
Yeah. That's what he
Look
decided
at-
to do.
Like that,
Yeah.
just immediately.
He just dropped everything.
Everything.
At the prospect of this, and maybe we always try to justify some things here. Maybe because he sees Doug like with this, cougar girl,
Yeah.
and he's doing fine. Apparently,
I think that has something to do with it for sure.
it's like this mentorship that he just can't get away from.
Yeah.
He just can't pull his mind away from. I don't know, man. Either way,
And
there
here's
should have been a montage of him.
And here's a completely another 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
Brian returns to New York with Bonnie, hoping she'll get him the corporate job he wants, but soon feels marginalized and resents her lifestyle. They break up and he tries to reconcile with Jordan, but she angrily refuses. When calmer, she reveals she's pregnant with his child and does not want him in her life. Jordan's father tries to buy Brian off with money, but he refuses. So first of all,
Brian's a piece of shit, dude.
Brian sucks
Fuck
ass.
I was trying to
guy.
keep you away from that for a second. he really like. Here he is finally like getting what he wants, but then he's throwing a fucking temper tantrum because like you're not getting me the interview that I want.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me live in your penthouse.
It's all about him. The only character in this movie where they think about other people is Jordan.
Yeah.
Like everybody else thinks about themselves, even his Bonnie.
Yeah.
It's just like, obviously we see it. It's just like, yeah, next week's your interview. I swear I'm going to talk to some people for you and shit. And it just never happens. It's like, here, take my coat. Like, yeah, it's shitty, but you deserve it. You fucking
You chose this life.
Fucking shit.
Sorry.
Yeah, you chose it. You chose it, man. Like that's what you decided you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you're getting pissed at her? Too bad, man. You left Jamaica and a great bartending gig and living down there.
What happened to the $70,000 you made, bro?
Yeah, what happened to that?
What happened?
Or like maybe he didn't. I don't know.
I don't know.
Thanks for explaining anything, director.
Well, one thing blew my fucking mind, the timing of it, because I won't spoil it, but I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Did you recognize Jerry's Diner, where Jordan works? He goes in there and he gets all the food dumped on him.
Yeah.
The fucking booth that he sat in was the booth from Boondock
No
Saints.
shit, dude.
Where Rocco shoots the two guys and then kills the fat fuck bartender.
It did look familiar.
It's the exact same bar. Me and Molly went,
kidding.
What? And like paused it real quick and said, oh my God. So it's called Lakeview Restaurant in Toronto.
Wow.
And they proudly proclaim a bunch of other movies got filmed there too. It is, the timing couldn't have been crazier because we just did Boondock Saints last week.
God.
The exact same diner.
Oh man, I'm so glad you uncovered that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, hang on. We were just here, right?
Yeah.
I was about
the
to
same
say,
thing.
what was it, Seinfeld or? And
It wasn't Seinfeld. So yeah, where he sat was where the Coke dude was. We're gonna be good fellas now. Same place.
Taken care of.
We're gonna get taken care of.
I like this scene a lot, though. I like her getting kind of her revenge.
Because Tom Cruise.
The special scene is so good. Like I'll go get the specials for you. I was like, get a fucking pitcher of water and dump it on that motherfucker's head or something like that. Katie and I were watching it, and we're like, I hate this guy. And then she goes and brings the specials and dumps it on him, and then does the ketchup and shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. It was a good scene.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Even that cook laughing was kind of funny. Like, the cook's there and he goes, huh.
It's like a director cameo. It's like,
but then so then he goes. This is the fucking weirdest thing to me. He goes to her apartment and he wants to apologize, but like he wants to apologize and she goes, well, how did you not, like, how could you do that to me? And I saw you guys. And he's like, what? You saw us? What do you mean? Like, what was he apologizing for? He was so confused that she knew about him with this older girl.
Right.
Why did he think she was mad in the first place? And what was he apologizing for?
he's so self-centered. He's like blaming her. He's like, well, you were coming on too quick. You were talking about kids
That's
and
right.
stuff like that. It's like making it about him.
Yeah.
And then he's that bullshit who's like, no, you don't understand. When someone gives you a dare, you do it. Like, what the
Justifying
Are
it?
you
like,
fucking 15 years old?
I double dog dare ya. It's like, what the hell?
Wait a minute. Brian is the kid from Christmas Story.
Flick.
Well, the way he was flicking that tongue in Elizabeth Shue's
Yeah,
mouth.
Oh,
fuck yeah. All right.
There it is. Here we go.
I'm down.
Yeah.
No, it's such a terrible thing. Like, he's like trying to mansplain what a dare is. What a dare is to Elizabeth. So he's like, no, you don't understand. When your best friend is like, you gotta go fuck that bitch. You gotta go fuck her. I don't care.
Like, you don't get that? Like,
I dare you to go fuck that bitch.
Okay, then I guess I gotta.
I guess we gotta go do that.
What a fucking.
What is consent?
I'm sure you guys were feeling the same way about
Oh,
this.
absolutely.
This was the dumbest scene of the movie.
He's
today.
like, you invited me up here just to tell me to fuck off. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
yes, I
Correct.
did. Yeah, it's your baby. You're not gonna be the father. And this is, we'll get to it in the next scenes, I guess. But like another thing about this son of a bitch is like, I'm gonna be a father. It's like you can't decide that.
Yeah.
Like, you're a piece of shit. You have written yourself off in this girl's life now.
Yeah, I do appreciate the kind of reverse coming to America we have here. Like, Elizabeth Shue is actually like super rich, and like it's almost like Brian gets there, he's like, "Wait a second,
This is actually kind of a nice place.
this is a nice place.
He's a son of a bitch.
I thought she was a poor bee." Whoa.
Dude, and what does that even have to do with anything? Like, she doesn't have to have a rich dad. They could just reconcile and be like,
Yeah.
Yep. It's like
It's like a more like maybe like a character redeeming moment where he's
Yeah.
like doesn't accept the money. It's
That's
like,
true.
I was reading it the whole time like this. No, I
Uh-oh.
don't. Fuck this. Like you're
Yeah.
trying to build this guy up as a good guy now by not accepting $10,000.
Yeah.
No, fuck off.
I think Jordan's dad was my favorite part of the movie. Like when he's there and he's like yelling at him, and Jordan comes in, he's like, "Stop!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "You ain't gonna marry this piece of shit." She's like, "Dad, I'll handle this." And then she starts talking, and he goes, and he just chimes in,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Dad." He goes,
All right.
He couldn't resist being like, I need to call this kid a piece of shit one more time.
Yeah.
And then I'm out.
One more time, I got to get my verbs in there.
Just speaking for the audience, but pretty much at this point.
I used to be so mad that he like was being a dick back in the day, and like, man, like you're just gonna disown your own daughter. It's like, yeah,
Dang it, man.
I'm disowning my daughter for this.
Yeah.
This is the worst decision she's ever made in her
It's
entire
crazy.
life. And yeah, so then you get to go to the to Brian or to Doug's new hangout, right?
Doug's new.
And you've got this bottle of Louis Trey brandy,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna leave this up for AJ. Brian buys it, that $500 bet.
Yes.
1988. What's it worth?
I'm gonna say it is worth $1,850.
It's $3,600 in
Holy
2020.
shit! I was way off.
$3,600.
Is what that bottle would be
Would
worth.
be worth
or
Wow.
is worth, or something.
Oh.
Would you? I don't know. Like, I'd rather just have a $42 bottle of Cedar Ridge bourbon
Absolutely.
than Louis Trey brandy.
They just
Brandy sucks.
they tear that shit down too. Like they pour massive glasses of this. They're just like, oh come on, I need more.
Every last drip.
It's like it's like they poured in there. I know it's not something you probably mix together, but like, come on, you're just dumping this out on this boat basically.
Well, even before this too, like what I don't get. I mean, I guess I get it. No, I don't.
It's a safe space. You don't have to pretend, man.
Doug's wife or whatever, Doug's little thing, like kisses Brian on the lips, and then goes and makes out with
Kisses
someone
another
else.
guy.
And so they're on this boat, and he's like, "Nah, man, I actually like hate my life and stuff." And even at this point, I'm like, I don't care.
No,
Like,
even him explaining, "Oh, I lost all my money in the commodities." You're like,
It gets like literally, I was like, this is Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Like 100% sure, like this is Days of Our Lives. This has been a plot point on Days of Our Lives.
every person is a piece of shit in this movie,
Yeah.
other than Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah.
That's basically all
Everyone.
it is. I just like to think of Doug like is watching his wife walk around and like kiss everyone. He's like, yeah, that's just how they do it in New York. It's like, we're in New York, asshole. Like, what are you talking? Nobody does this. This is not okay. What's going on?
A couple people that were I really do like Brian Brown in this.
I do
I
too.
like his
Yeah.
performance. I think he's perfect for this movie.
I do too.
He was also the. Did you recognize him from any other movies? The one in particular that we just talked about was Along Came Polly.
Yes.
He was the entrepreneur
The
guy or
rich
whatever.
billionaire guy. Yeah.
Here's a couple other guys that were considered for the role. Tell me if any of these would work.
Okay.
Jack Nicholson, Dustin Hoffman, Michael Caine,
Michael Caine.
and Dudley Moore were considered for those roles.
Michael Caine, I
Michael
could see.
Caine, he feels too old. I've never seen Michael Caine young. Like, he's always just been an old
Yeah.
guy, it feels to me.
Yeah.
He looks like he does now.
Yeah.
That's
He
basically
just
it.
kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
Just with a little bit like darker hair. So that's about it.
It's hard to think of anybody else in that role, I think.
I heard they actually wanted like Tom Hanks for Brian's
Yeah.
role, or Tom Cruise's role, and Robin Williams was vetted for a while
Yes.
too, is what I heard.
I think Robin Williams could have actually made this interesting.
Well, I read a little bit on it. I know we're not supposed to.
Oh,
But
Oh, man.
I read that the original script is like really dark, like
Yeah.
really, and I was like that might have been the way to go. But then Tom Cruise was cast,
Yeah.
and they're like, we have to lighten it up a bit.
Well, and all you do in this moment, and it's hard not to speak to the time, I guess. But I feel like all you're doing by casting Tom Cruise in this is just creating a heartthrob movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting money,
and that's all you're getting out of
Yeah.
it.
they
Like,
clearly did. Had this been anyone else, this movie would have fucking flopped
Probably.
so hard.
Probably. Like with the writing and all that
Yes.
stuff. And I don't know what kind of rewriting they may have done. Now Tom Cruise is in
Yeah.
it, but we need to make sure we just get a lot of Tom Cruise
Yeah.
and doing Tom Cruise
And
things.
you get it because like this is Pete Tom Cruise, and he's
Exactly.
very good at what he does. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a great actor.
Yeah.
and like and sometimes you're like, but he does well. You know,
Yeah.
in this movie, so it's
Yeah.
just not a good script
Yeah.
for any of these
It's
guys to
not.
save it.
Yeah, it's not. Like you think about that, it is the best thing of this. I think is the casting.
Yeah.
This
That's
should
really
have been this should have been Coyote Ugly for Tom Cruise.
Mm.
You know, like Coyote Ugly's like
Okay.
all in the bar and everything like that. And there's
Yeah.
a bunch of fun things going on. This should have been this movie.
Yeah,
And that's,
know?
that's why I say like there's a
the
point.
first half.
Yeah, there's a point that I'm like, this is highly entertaining, honestly. And then once it goes and they go outside to Jamaica, you're just like, okay, we just needed a catalyst for them. You met the girl from New York in Jamaica,
They're
Where
all from
you-
New York.
but you live in New York too. Why'd we have to go to Jamaica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
It's true,
None
man.
of this needed to happen.
It's true, and like it does seem like a structure of like a book because this was based off of the
Yeah.
novel by this actual screenwriter too. It does seem like there's a lot happening packed into just like an hour and 40 minutes that doesn't really need to be there. Like
Yeah.
adapting a book is extremely different. Like you want to make a good screenplay.
Yeah.
Like it might have been a good book. Like if
Yeah.
like all these things were fleshed out a little bit more, but you know, I guess watching this movie will not know. I guess.
No.
yeah.
So to finish this off, Brian finds Doug dead on his new yacht, distraught but determined to win Jordan over. She agrees to take him back, but her father interferes, leading to a fight where a security guard assaults Jordan. Brian and Jordan marry, and Brian finally lives out his dream of opening his own bar, Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams. Explain to me how Coughlin passed out. We've all been there in our lives where you've drank so much that you've passed out, and nothing wakes you. Like you're going to be out for about 8 hours, no matter what's going on around you.
Right.
Where he was able to pass out, however, then wake up within the next hour or so. We're assuming Tom Cruise was able to drive his slutty ass bitch home.
Yeah.
That's like, you're scared. Why are you so scared? He's like, scared of fucking my best friend's wife.
Yeah.
I am scared of doing that.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen.
But then he goes back. So we're talking an hour or two to where then Doug was able to wake up from a drunken coma, be fully conscious, write a letter, and then slit his own throat with a bottle of brandy.
It's true.
What?
They write this off as a suicide real quick.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, no, he broke the bottle and slit his own
Yeah.
throat.
No, this is
His prized possession bottle. He just
now another case cracked, open and shut. That's all.
they had fucking Duffy or what from Boondock Saints on the case.
these two kicking the shit out of each other, right?
Greenlee.
Greenlee's.
I like how Tom Cruise gets in there and there's like blood everywhere. He's like, oh. Oh my God! I can't believe you've done this.
Okay. He's like, oh, that must be brandy. It's not. Like, what? Like, come on.
All this is like, oh, now Doug's dead, and,
Yeah.
and now I'm sad, but I'm gonna win Jordan back. And
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now everything is. Now I understand everything in the world.
Yeah, and you can't even, as much as Elizabeth Shue is amazing in this role and is doing whatever she can to save this character, you just can't save it because
No.
her character is so bad. Like she makes bad decision after bad decision. She lets a young bartender into her pants in Jamaica, gets pregnant. I'm not saying anything. I mean that happens, right?
Yeah, whatever.
She
Yeah,
lets
we've
that
all
happen.
been there.
We have all been there. Then she chooses this bartender that she's only known for a few days, who cheated on her right after conceiving a child. Currently doesn't have any money or job over her safe and rich family.
Yeah, I don't see what's the wrong big deal with this, Mike.
Then imagine how this goes when the movie's over. Let me just paint a picture, right? Brian's gonna be working
All right.
60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So this movie, I don't mind you ruining for me.
Yeah, Brian's gonna be working 60 hours a week, coming home 3 a.m., smelling like booze, not happy because there's no way Cocktails and Dreams is gonna become a nationwide chain of bars. It's literally just a fucking bar.
In malls.
It's not a TGI Friday.
It's not a TJ Fridays.
It's not at all.
It turns out people don't like poetry in their bars, so it's not going to work out well. And so, like, no one wants to hear poetry. No one wants to wait 15 minutes for a drink. He's going to come home. He's going to be mad. he's a career bartender with twins. Like, it's just, this is not going to work out well for them.
Yeah, it's my last note is like he got the girl, he got the kid, and he got the bar where no one ever got their drinks. Like, yeah.
Jeremy's the official belt getter. Move the belt along.
No, it's like I figured, like I wanted that to be like the ending, like like the ending synopsis or whatever,
Yeah.
and then ... at the end.
No one ever got their drinks. It's like, might as well
Face it, you're addicted to might as well face it, you're a dick.
That's how I'm going to end that.
So good.
Yeah, like whatever. Here we are on our 9 millionth 90-degree turn in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I know your friend just died, but now everything's great.
Right.
Good job.
Yep. You just
Actually, you're not really your friend because he was a piece of shit too.
Yeah.
You didn't really have a great relationship, but congrats.
Well, yeah, it seems
Why
like
are you so sad?
as soon as Doug died, his life got together.
that's a good point. Yeah. Shit.
Maybe he was a bad friend, Brian.
Maybe he was just a bad person. That it's unfortunate that you met him altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really nothing else to say about that. What do you guys?
I just think that I think you're completely right in the idea that everybody comes to see Brian be this bartender at Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams, and then when they realize they don't actually get a drink,
They're just dreaming of their
they're
dream.
just,
That's what that means. Cocktails and dreams, mostly dreams.
more like cocktails in your dreams.
Give him the belt.
Yeah,
God damn it.
that's
it.
it.
Well,
That's all we can-
so now you guys do. I have to give my modern day rating that I have changed from my nostalgic rating, but I do need a rating, a modern day critical rating from AJ. What were your thoughts on this movie, man?
If I had watched the first half of this movie, or first like third of this movie, and then it would have been like, oh shoot, I gotta go do something. I was like, well, I'll still give it a 6.9.
I'm
something
sure it
like
turns
that.
out good.
I'm sure it ends just fine. But no, watching this, I'm watching another 2/3 of it. I'm going to give it 2/3 of that, and I'm going to give it. What would that be?
Geez, I don't know.
A 3.9. I think.
3.9 for AJ. Sean, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike, when saying that it's just the script is just not there, and it's so like we've been saying, like the first half of it is like really fun, and I want to see that world most of the time. And like I know you have to have conflict and stuff and stories to like keep people interested and stuff, but like I don't know. It goes like so soap opera-y, and I'm like, I could tell everything that's gonna happen. Like, oh, we found him dead. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no! And it was the bottle I gave him.
yeah, it's like it's so MacGuffin.
They didn't even investigate who gave this bottle. His fingerprints are all over
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They didn't have any conversations with him. Nope. Case closed.
If it was like an investigation of Brian, I've been like, fuck this, fuck this movie. But I'm still fuck this movie, to be honest. It's
0.0.
there's really no redeem. Like I don't ever really need to watch it again. The soundtrack's great.
Soundtrack is
Elizabeth
really good.
Shue is awesome. Yeah, I'm a 3.7.
3.7 for Sean. It's fine. Like it's worse upon rewatch if you're really critically thinking about it. However, if it's on TV, like I will probably watch it because of some of the performances are good and some scenes are great.
Yeah.
Like the first half.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those movies where I might turn it on TV, but then slowly like pull my phone out or like or just oh wait, something else might be on. Let me check
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah.
You're
So
inevittry going to drift away from this movie halfway through.
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna say the same as AJ. I'm gonna say a 3.9. So that is a 3.83. That is
Wow.
for our post rating. That is not the worst. That is third from the bottom. That is just under Goldeneye, just above Blank Check.
See, I would rather watch Blank Check.
I know. I think we might have to revisit some of these movies and be like, okay, we're gonna adjust these ratings. So yeah, that's our I've never seen. I hope you enjoy that. We're glad you're here. Tune in next Wednesday for another great episode. We will be reviewing Tremors.
Ooh, yeah.
Many people have been talking about Tremors, so we're gonna do that, and then a very requested movie. We're going to be hitting Tommy Boy, our first Chris Farley.
Got to.
If you're new to the
Yeah.
podcast, go back in time last year. Check out our review of The Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah.
A year ago. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
I think we got pretty deep on. There wasn't terribly too much comedy in that. The comedy was great, but like it turned into a bit of a serious discussion.
Yeah,
and
it
I
was.
really enjoyed that.
I think it was one of a very important episode that
Yeah.
we had, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
I think we grew up after that episode.
think
We
could
really
say
did,
we
didn't we?
Maybe
did.
a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Don't you forget about me.
I won't.
Thanks. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Please stay in touch with us by following on all of our social media platforms at Confused Breakfast on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and Confused Be Fast on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review on the podcast platform of your choice right now.
Also, we have merch. You know you want to rep the Confused Breakfast in public. Mugs, stickers, shirts, all kinds of goodies. Go to confusedbreakfast.com for a direct link.
And don't forget about our voicemail number, 319-804-9596. Links to everything you could ever need from us are in the show notes or at confusedbreakfast.com. This includes a way to follow all of us individually in our personal projects that we want you to check out. Mission of the day, tell your friends about us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.